Hi there, welcome to another episode of Healing the Child Within, based on my best-selling book, Healing the Child Within, Life is All About Choices. Today we're going to be talking about breaking the loop. Well, what does that mean? Well, in essence, do you want something in your life to change? Is there something that you are experiencing over and over and over, and you're so over it that you want something to change? If so, this episode may be just what you're looking for. And remember, if you're watching this video, or maybe you're listening to it, it came into your awareness for a reason. There are no accidents in the universe. So pay attention to the message, and especially pay attention to whatever you find you have resistance around, because that's usually what our inner being is trying to get us to, take a look at and see if you want to do some inner work around it. Okay, so breaking the loop, what the heck does that mean? Well, for me, breaking the loop, I kind of think of it like we tend to do the same things over and over and over every single day, right? We get up, whether you wake up to an alarm or however it works for you, you get up, you have your morning routine, you have the same breakfast every day, or maybe you skip breakfast and you are that kind of person who only has coffee for breakfast, or you're on your way to work and you stop at your favorite coffee house. I mean, we get into a routine, and routines can be a rut. And these routines / ruts are like a loop. It's doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. We wonder why our life isn't going according to plan. We wonder why life isn't happening the way we want it to happen. And we get so frustrated and we struggle and we try to make something different out of what we're currently doing. We try to make something different out of our loop that we're in. So let's just say that you wake up every morning to your alarm at 6 a.m. Your alarm goes off at 6, you do what you do. Maybe you push the snooze button a couple times. Maybe you want to get up, you don't want to get up. This is what I love to call, do you have a JOB? Your jump out of bed. What is your JOB? I mean, when it's time for you to get up, do you lay there and think about how fabulous your day is going to be? Or do you dread what's coming, what lies ahead? You see, because in those first few moments of our day, that's when we are preceding our day, SEEDING. We're planting seeds in our mind for how we want our day to go. Now, you might say, no, you don't understand, Nancy. Yesterday my day was horrible, no good, rotten, yucky. And I will push back a little bit and say, okay, so think about what you were thinking about as you were waking up. What was on your mind? What was going through your thoughts? If you were dreading something, if you, maybe you have, maybe you don't like your career, maybe you don't like your job, maybe you don't like the people at your job, maybe you love your job and you don't like working with the people, whatever it is. Maybe it's getting up to the same routine and thinking, oh, I have to get up and make breakfast for everyone. Whatever it is, you have thoughts that you're thinking, because we can't just turn our thoughts off. Of course, I don't want everyone calling me and saying, yes, sir, Nancy, you can, you go into meditation. Yes, of course. But for most people, when they're into their unconscious day, the thoughts are going. Now, remember, a belief is a thought that you think over and over and over and over again. And because you think this thought over and over and over again, you tend to believe that this is the way life is. So let's take a look at your finances. If you are looking at your bank account or something that's going on in your finances and you are seeing the same thing over and over and over and over, you're in a loop about that. And when you're in that loop, you're thinking the same thoughts about it over and over and over and over again. Let's think about your relationships. whatever your relationships are, if they're reciprocal, non-reciprocal, if you're in a relationship at work with your coworkers and you have people that you just don't really want to be around and you would rather, I just wish that person would leave or go away or just quit giving me such a hard time. When you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about that person, right? You're thinking about that person over and over and over and over again. And remember, your thoughts, whatever you're thinking, has a feeling and an emotion attached to it. So what you're feeling is creating the vibration you're putting out into the universe, and the universe, which is neutral, it's not good or bad, right or wrong, it doesn't judge, it sends you more of what you're putting out there, because whatever you're putting out there, those vibrations are basically saying to the universe, I want more of this, send me more. Now you might say, Nancy, that's impossible. I would not be asking for the crap I'm going through. And I again will push back a little bit and say, well, what is your belief around it? See, because the loop that you're in, the thoughts that you think, the people you hang around with the most, your health, whatever it is, those thoughts that you're thinking over and over and over and over and over again, those words that you're saying over and over and over and over again, you get it, right? Everything is a loop until we step back and say, wow, I see this. I see that I keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. You know, this is what I like to call breaking the cycle. They often say that abused children will grow up to abuse their children, and people who hurt will hurt others. So, you know, it's that loop of feelings and emotions. And the feelings and emotions are attached to every action that you take, every choice that you make. Every choice has an action, every action has a consequence to it. So whatever you're putting into place over and over and over again, do you see the value in breaking the loop? Now, first of all, how do you go about breaking the loop? I'm so glad you asked that question. Okay, so breaking the loop, this means that, again, I'm going to encourage you, you know, this work is so simple. It's so simple. And every week when I talk, I'm always talking about usually 3 things: mind mapping, your happy list, and your want, don't want list. If you would get in the habit of paying attention to those, first of all, creating them, second of all, paying attention to them, and third of all, asking yourself, what am I learning from this? It's 3 simple steps, but yet people will often choose not to do it. And they'll choose not to do it because they have a belief that it can't be this easy. It can't be this easy. You mean just knowing what I'm feeling is going to make all the difference in my life? Yes, but the average person, right? Most people will say it can't be that. It has to be more difficult. It has to be harder than that. So let me ask you this. Why do you believe that life has to be hard instead of easy? Think about that for a minute. Why do you believe that life has to be so difficult? You know, I saw a sign, I was out somewhere yesterday and I saw a sign, it said, work hard. It said, work hard, enjoy your life. Work hard, be good to others. That's what it said. And I thought, you know, there are some people who will look at that sign and say, yes, that's what's going to make me a good person. I'm going to buy this sign and I'm going to put it on my wall and I'm going to read it and I'm going to remind myself, work harder, be nice to people. But you know what? You can be the nicest person in the world. But if your energy, i.e. your vibrations and your feelings, are not matching what you're trying to portray, what do you think the universe is going to match for you? Because it's not what you say, it's what you feel. So again, I'll go back to these 3 steps that I share over and over and over. You can make it really hard if you feel like, oh, you know what? I was taught that the only way I could be really successful is to work really, really hard. Okay, if that's a belief that you want to make your mantra, if that's a belief that you want to live by, go ahead. It's absolutely your prerogative. Remember, there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. I am not here to tell you what you should and should not do. I can, however, share with you that if life is difficult for you, there are some easy steps that you can take to make life less difficult. So it's totally up to you, right? Life is all about choices. You make the choice. So now let's go back to, I started to say, the mind map. Okay, so ask yourself, why does life need to be difficult? So take a circle, put it in the middle of your paper, draw lines out from there, and then, circles at the end of the line, and you can keep going. I mean, you can make it like your whole wall if you want to, but keep asking yourself the question around whatever it is that your struggle is, which is, the loop that you've created. So now let's take relationship and let's break it down, because there's so many relationships. Everything's a relationship, right? You have a relationship to money, you have a relationship to people, you have a relationship to your health, there's a relationship to everything. So again, you can see why knowing the words and the definition of your words is so important. What is the definition of your word relationship? Does it mean having contact with another person? What is your relationship definition? So be very clear on the words that you're using when you're doing the mind mapping. So if we take a relationship specifically with a spouse, now let's say that you are having a challenge with your spouse every single day, day in and day out. You're just like, oh man, I love him / her, whichever it is, but if only they would X, Y, Z. You see how you keep yourself in that loop, because you have a challenge, you believe it to be that other person's fault, you are blaming that person, you're wishing that person would do something different, and you're in this loop over and over and over. And until you break the loop, things are going to go the same day in and day out, every single day. And as things go the same day in and day out, remember, you have feelings and emotions attached to that. And those feelings and emotions are creating your vibrations you're putting out into the universe. The universe is sending experiences back to you, people back to you, so that you can have and experience what you are telling the universe that you really want. I want to have this struggle with my significant other. I want to have this constant feuding. I want to stay in this loop. And the universe knows this, because this is the loop that you're caught in over and over and over. So let's say your health. Let's talk about your health. If that was one of the things on your mind map, what is it about your health that you want to change? What is it that you tell yourself day in and day out? Maybe it's weight. A lot of people, this is a really popular one. People say, I don't like the weight I am, then I'm going to go on a diet, and they go on a diet, and then something spoils the diet, and then they get upset with themselves, and then they say, oh, this isn't working. Now you see they're in that loop, and they're going around and around. And this works with everything that you believe you're struggling with. And I say you believe you're struggling because obviously you're thinking thoughts day in and day out over and over and over about this struggle. You're in this loop and you're just like, oh man, I don't know how to get out of this. You know, I'm struggling. And then what do most people do? Well, they look for something to get their mind off of it. So what do we do? Like, oh, I'm going to go on vacation, or retail therapy, or too much sex, too much drugs, too much alcohol, too much whatever. And then they find themselves in another pattern of habit. Maybe it's a pattern of spending. You are in a loop of you're not feeling good about your life. You go out and you buy something for yourself and you feel better about yourself, but then you have buyer's remorse, and then you have buyer's remorse, and then you have to deal with that, and then you're in that loop. Do you see? It's all about these loops that we create in all areas of our life. So again, get out your mind map, draw a circle in there. Here's the cool thing. You can be self-healing. And when I say healing, what I mean is that whatever you are struggling with, that you don't want to struggle with anymore, if you heal that, it's not bothering you anymore. It's not part of your life anymore. So when you heal it, when you break that loop, when you step out of it, life is so fantastic. I mean, then you live your best life ever. But until you learn to break the loop, until you learn that it's possible to break the loop, you're going to stay in it over and over and over. You're going to get up every single day and you're going to make the same choices over and over. The choices, if you are in a relationship with someone where you're struggling, I mean, it's just not the relationship that you want. Think about the conversations that you have over and over and over and over again. Aren't you sick of it? And you just think, okay, you think to yourself, I have told my significant other over and over and over what he or she needs to do to make the changes. I don't know how to get it across to him or her. I don't know how to be more plain. The thing is like, think about this. Think about the energy that you're sending to this other person. Well, you know, we really connect with other people based on what we feel, right? It was Maya Angelou that said, people may forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. And actually, it's how they feel around you, because we can't make anyone feel, say, or do anything. We don't have that power over another person. But think about it. Just think about it. Someone who you're not crazy about, someone who you just would like to not be around. How do you feel when you're around that person? Think about it. Now think about someone that you enjoy spending time with. How do you feel when you're around that person? I mean, one is like, no, I don't want this. And the other is, woohoo, party like purple. I mean, there is no guesswork here. You know how you feel. But maybe you're in a loop of feeling negative. Ooh, this is gold, let me tell you. And if this is something that you are working on, or maybe just hearing that it's possible to work on, get out your mind map. Remember, draw a circle in the middle of a paper and write down, I'm in a loop of feeling negative. And then from your lines, and you draw other circles, then write, what does that feel like in those other circles? What does it feel like? What are you experiencing? What's coming up for you? What do you want to change? Now, the reason that this mind mapping is so powerful is because you must be open to giving yourself 100% permission to be honest. You know, because if you're going to write something down and you're like, oh, I can't say that would be wrong, or that's boastful, or that's arrogant, or gosh, that's really dark. I don't know that I want to write that down. Here's the thing. If you can't get out of your head what you're feeling, thinking, believing, you are going to stay in that loop continuously. You're going to continue making the same choices and having the same reactions and feeling the same feelings and having the same vibrations and putting them out to the universe. And you're going to keep drawing back to you people, places, and experiences to match the vibration that you're putting out there. And then you're going to sit down and you're going to wonder, like, what the heck, man? Why is the universe against me? I don't understand this. And you know, the universe is not against you. You're not even against yourself. Truly. It simply takes practice, right? This inner work, this healing your inner child, it's inner work. It's about practice. What daily practices are you going to give yourself permission to do every single day, and sometimes more than once a day? Because it's these 3 steps that I go back to when something comes up for me that I think, whoa, why did I attract that? What the heck, man? Where was my mind on this? What was I thinking? And you see, but I have the tools. I know. Okay, wait, stop right now. First, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write this out. Now, here's what happens though. People feel, literally feel. Think about that word, feel. What does that word mean? Feel. When you feel fear, like you're so freaking afraid of something, the last thing you want to do is get out a piece of paper and mind map, right? All right, that's the truth. So here's the thing. When something is really gripping you and you just feel in the moment, like almost paralyzed, like you can't go left or right, you can't think, you're just so maybe upset about what's happening. Stop and utilize your happy list. This is why it's so important. Because if you've taken the time to create your happy list, if you've taken the time to really put things on your happy list that make you happy, there should be something on there that when you're in that grip of fear or that grip of unknowing or that loop that seems never ending, that you can look at your list and it'll be one thing and it'll make you smile. That's all you need. 16 seconds of changing your energy. Because I can guarantee you when you're having that negative conversation with someone, they're just as sick of hearing about it as you are. So what would happen if you step back and start acting instead of reacting? Now, this is one of the tools, one of the techniques, one of the premises that we learned in martial arts that took me a long time to really understand. Because when I first went into the dojo and they started teaching us, okay, these are all your yellow belt techniques. This is where you're going to start. You're going to start from this level right here, and you're going to understand what this means. So we would do things based on just following direction, right? Okay, right hand punch. It means I step back, I block, I got it. This is the right hand punch. This is how I'm going to defend myself. We are acting. We are thinking about it. We are acting. Now, if you don't know this, and then someone steps in with a right hand punch towards you, you will react because you don't really know what you're doing. And so they're going to punch you. And if you don't have the wherewithal of what to do or the knowledge, you're going to just react and hope that everything works out well. But when you create a practice for what to do when someone steps into you with a right hand punch, now you act instead of react. You see? So when you act, you are really using conscious thought because you know what you're doing. When you react, it's like throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks, right? So when you react, you're just like, it's like a Hail Mary, you know what? Let's hope this works. And it's the same thing when you're in that loop. If you do not have something that you, like a touchstone that you can look at, whether it's your happy list, maybe it's something, a piece of jewelry. I hear that there are people who smoke and they're trying to quit smoking, so they wear a rubber band on their wrist and they'll snap the rubber band so that they, they don't have that urge to smoke, or to remind themselves to get rid of the urge, or whatever. Whatever it is for you, a piece of jewelry, maybe something you want to wear around your neck, something, a touchstone, or something on your happy list. Now, here's why I suggest that with your happy list, you make it at least 100 things, 100 things that make you really, really happy. Because maybe in the moment right now, when I'm feeling out of sorts or fearful or gripped in something that I don't want to be gripped in, I might look at my happy list, and what worked last time isn't doing it for me this time. Because we can also get in a loop about our happy list. You see, it's like constantly changing. The universe is made up entirely of energy. Energy is constantly shifting and moving and vibrating. It's in constant motion. Our bodies are 100% energy. We are spiritual beings having a human experience in this lifetime. So if we're constantly shifting, doesn't it make sense that you want to always have something at your disposal that's going to work for you in the moment, in that split second? So I've shared with you things on my happy list. Man, one of the things is thinking about my brother smiling or my brother laughing. That can really do it for me. But maybe there's something going on in my mind during a specific time when that particular happy thought will make me think about where he is right now and how much I miss him. And so that happy thought won't do it for me in the moment. You can see why you need at least 100 things on your happy list. What freaking makes you happy? What lights you up? What makes you want to party like purple? It's 3 simple things. Having your happy list, having your want, don't want list, and paying attention, putting this into practice, knowing that when you are in the loop of something you do not want, something you're experiencing that you say you do not want, what is the thing that you can reach for immediately? And that's not to say that you will have your list available, but chances are most people have their phone with them at all times. Put your happy list on your phone. Just bring it out and look at it. Oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna go down. And you know what? Sometimes just looking down that list of 100 things on your happy list will take your mind off of whatever's going on at the moment long enough for you to shift your vibration. If this is work that you want to know more about, if you would like to learn how to break the loop, or maybe this information that I just shared is all you need and you're going to put it into practice and you're like, woohoo, I encourage you to visit my website at masteringyyourbeliefs.com. Get your free download. Get the audio course, man. Get the audio course. Get the e-course, because you have whatever it takes inside of you. You have all the answers. You simply must give yourself the opportunity to say, do I want to take the easy way? Do I want to break the loop? Do I want to keep suffering? Ask yourself the questions. What do you want? And put it on your want, don't want list. Remember, for everything you say you want, you also have to know what you don't want, the opposite of that, because chances are that's what you're concentrating on continuously, day in and day out. That's what's creating your mindset. Because most people think more about what they don't want than what they do want. And when you're thinking about what you don't want, when you're stuck in that loop of negativity, and you're thinking about that over and over and over again, you are vibrating and sending those vibrations out into the universe, and you will attract back to you more of what you say you don't want. It's universal law. There is no stepping out of that. There is no saying, well, I'm going to be the person that's going to change this. Well, life is all about choices, right? Do you want to choose to live in negativity and just say, you know what, life is hard. I'm just going to keep mustering through this. Sooner or later, it's got to give. Or do you want to break the loop, master your beliefs, and step out of that negativity and live the life you were meant to live? If you have any questions, let me know. In the meantime, this is Nancy Muller, the one and only Life Sensei, saying ciao for now.